Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to the channel. Just a little heads up that these videos are off the cuff in the middle of a workday, unprepared by and large, and intended to provide you the exact same kind of tips we often are conferring with our clients on in the middle of an issue, in the middle of a workday. So usually it's over a cup of coffee or a glass of water, and we just put them out there because it's a click of a button, and there you go. So enjoy the video. I hope any of these can help you get through your Social Security disability or SSI claim, or even your retirement issue, if that's what happens to be the issue of the day. Take care now. Enjoy the video. Hello. Okay. In response to a question about when you try to figure out your diary date, and this happened to be applying to someone who was in their 60s and wondering about a diary date for a CDR, continuing disability review. As you know, all cases get assigned a diary, I'm going to call it a diary date, for when they will be up for a CDR. This is to ensure that the person is still disabled under the law, therefore still eligible and entitled to continue collecting their benefits. So a lot of people dread these things, understandably, but there are, of course, ways to protect yourself should you remain disabled so that you don't have to fear a CDR. We do have a whole playlist. I'm not sure how thick it is yet, but a playlist on CDRs. This specific question was, if I'm in my, let's say you're 62 and the SSA tells you that you won't be getting a CDR review. What does that mean? Does that mean they don't do CDRs after 62? No, it does not. What I believe is probably the case, and it's the only one that makes sense to me, is that the individual's type of impairment gave it a diary date of probably 5 to 7 years. And what that means is, they give you the diary dates based on, has to do with your impairment, has to do with what your condition was when you were found disabled. And it is determined whether you are most, you're likely to improve. You are not expected to improve. Medical improvement, not expected. MINE, medical improvement expected. And that's based, of course, on, what is apparently out there in terms of recovery. It has to do with medical know-how, what the treatments are, what's working, and how many people do get back on their feet, based on a certain condition. Some conditions are readily treatable and people are happily recovered enough to get back to work. And then, of course, many are not, and many get worse, particularly as we age, because there's always the aging going on as we head through life and head through our beneficiary, status collecting, and the years go on. So there is always the addition of the aging factor that sometimes makes us deteriorate or degenerate, as they say. Sometimes I think it's happening right in front of my face when I look in the mirror. But anyway, so what does it mean if the person, what could it mean? And what I think it likely means when the person was told you're not going to be up for review, which seems to be contrary to everyone gets a CDR. Well, if his diary date was 5 to 7 years from the point he was 62, that puts him at full retirement age. At full retirement age, you flip over to retirement. You are not disabled anymore from a legal perspective. Your benefits come from a different fund. It comes from the retirement fund, like every other unimpaired person, because once you hit retirement, your disability is not relevant. So you will not be having a CDR if you're hitting, full retirement age, which for most people is 67. So I believe that's what was going on with this person's question and situation. So it's kind of a good thing. Having a further out diary is not a good sign for the improvement factor if you're hoping to improve, of course, particularly if it, diminishes your quality of life, not just your work life. But in terms of a CDR, if you're, if your diary date's going to mathematically equal out to, they can't CDR you because you're going to be in that call it a protected age if you want, full retirement age, then that's what I think that would mean. So is that exactly what necessarily happened to him? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't speak to them, and they didn't further explain. But that would be the explanation I would expect. Okay. Have a great one, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Okay, let's do a quick review of the 8 steps of the CDR evaluation process that the SSA is going to go through if you're going through a CDR. Okay, we'll do this quick. I have individual short videos on each one of these sections, so I'll direct you thereafter. So number 1, they're going to ask, are you working SGA? Y'all know what SGA is, right? If not, look under one of the playlists that I have. There's a glossary section. There's things on SGA. So if you're not working, obviously the answer is going to be no. If you are working and it's over SGA amount, the answer is going to be yes, and you're going to be terminated. End of story. You just lost at step 1. If the answer is no, you get to go to step 2. So you're still in the game. Does your impairments, both the ones that you won on before and any new ones that didn't exist then but do now, do they meet or equal a listing? As you might recall, you can win a case either by meeting a listing or by proving that your residual functional capacity is not enough to allow you to perform any job full-time that exists in substantial numbers in the national or regional economy. Okay, in a nutshell. So if the first one, if you meet a listing between your old stuff and new stuff, boom, your disability continues and you're done. So that's a good one, a good result. I mean, meeting a listing is not so great, but for the purposes of your CDR, it's good. If you do not meet a listing, then you go down to step number 3, and then things start getting a little tricky. The question is, have you had medical improvement? If the answer is no, you don't necessarily win at that point. They have to go and see if you fall under an exception to medical improvement. These exceptions have to do with errors that might have been in the prior file. They can also have to do with medical technologies that may have changed the scenario of, whether you're disabled. And they don't often cause a cessation, but they have to look at them first and make sure they don't. So it's just a step they have to go through, even if you're not medically improved. Those also include bad acts, fraud, things like that, or medical noncompliance if you're not complying with medical advice, where they think that if you did comply, you wouldn't be disabled anymore, but you're just stubbornly not complying. Okay, more details in those other videos, okay, on that step. So anyway, if a medical number 5 exception doesn't apply, then you're going to be continued at that point. You had no medical improvement, and a step 5 exception did not apply. You've won at this step. You get to continue, meaning with your disability. If you did have medical improvement, then they have to go to step 4. So if at step 3, they decide that you did have medical improvement instead of no, you did not, then they go to step 4 and decide whether it's related to work. In other words, would the medical improvement change the capacity in which you could do certain work-related tasks? If it is related to work, then you're going to go to step 6, and I'll get to that in a minute. If it's not related to work, so you've improved medically, but it doesn't in any way affect your ability to work. It doesn't improve it. So if that answer is no, it's not related to the ability to work, they're going to shove you over to that step 5, where they look at those weird exceptions about fraud and if there was some aberrational mistake in the lower file, that kind of thing. And if none of those exceptions apply, you will be continued and you've won at that point. If the medical improvement was related to work and you go on to section 6, then this becomes kind of like how they did it at the lower levels when you first won. Number 6 is, well, does he have severe impairments now? The old, are they still severe? If not, are there new ones? If the answer is yes, then you're going to go on to step number 7, which I'll get to in a second. If the answer is no, you don't have any severe, like you improved so much that none of them are considered severe anymore, you're done. and not in a good way. You are ceased. If you do still have severe impairments, they have to continue the evaluation. And that's where they develop your RFC, residual functional capacity, for the current moment in time. You had one back when you first won. That's your CPD comparison point date RFC. So you're going to have a new one. And with the new one, they're going to then also look at your past relevant work. Well, with your new capacity, whether it's better or worse, can he or she do any of his past relevant work? Now, as I emphasize, past relevant work is a term of art. You're going to want to find out what that is. There's recency tests. They don't apply every job you did in high school. So even if you could do a job from a long, long time ago, and you could do it now because it was that simple and easy, if it's that long ago, it's not going to count as past relevant work. And that's a good thing for you. Okay, if you can do past relevant work, you're ceased. You're no longer disabled. If you cannot do past relevant work, as noted under step 7, they go on to step 8, and that's, can you do other work? Because remember, we always have to prove that not only can we not do our prior work, we can't do any other work that exists in substantial numbers in the economy. Okay. If we can do other work, again, we're done. We're ceased. If we cannot do other work, awesome. You just won. You just got all the way through the process and proved that you are still disabled. It's not that crazy of a process. It just takes a long time, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes while you're doing it. As I tell everybody, your best defense for a CDR is always having been prepared for it to begin with. When you win your claim, you keep going for follow-up for all of those impairments that continue. You know, if you don't go, it's going to be somewhat presumed that it's either not a continuing impairment or it's certainly not severe. So your best bet, even if you don't have any treatments that are going to work, there's no cure, continue to be followed for them, continue to express your complaints to your doctor so they continue to show up in your records over the years. Okay, that's the biggest piece of information I give my people. And I give it to you. All righty. That's the summary of the 8 steps of the sequential evaluation. Oh, I should also say, grids can apply here. If you don't know what the grids are, check out the video. We know that grids are great for people over 50, generally speaking, and they will apply here. And just think about it. When you first were awarded, you were younger. You might have actually skipped over into an age group that would be even more helpful to you to prevail on a CDR than your prior age group when you were younger. So grids do apply. All right. All righty. Any questions? You know where to reach me.